Hi, Tracy and John. We have wanted to have a chat to you for quite some time about the marriage course. So we had our whole camera set up and we said, hey, why don't we just put together a little video for you? So this is it. It'll just be a few minutes. But anyway, I really hope you don't turn off now. Don't turn off. Don't turn off right now. Stay listening. Okay. So we did the marriage course in late 2004. I was actually pretty much 9 months pregnant with Francis when we finished. But honestly, it was one of the best things that we did for our marriage. We didn't go particularly because there was anything wrong. And in fact, people go, sometimes there are things wrong and sometimes there aren't.
Well, there was lots wrong with you, but there was nothing wrong with me, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
So no, we definitely went. We went because we'd heard about it, and actually we'd known other people who'd been to the marriage course, and they just said how much it had profited them. And I would say, of the people that I know doing the marriage course, none of them, their marriages were particularly in trouble. But just basically, they've got this thought that actually marriage is something that, if you don't invest in it, how do you expect it to grow? And, we invest in so many other things in our lives, like our work, or our cars, or our homes. We invest time and money. But actually, marriage, curiously, we just kind of expect it to happen by itself. Mm-hmm.
So the great thing about that is that all the couples turning up, nobody thinks, oh, there's something wrong. Mm. So loads of couples do this course year in, year out, and across England and even over in America. So they go to learn more about each other.
And China. So the course is written by a guy called Lee. And somehow the Chinese got hold of the course, and they thought, Lee, he must be Chinese then. So actually, the Chinese government has now made it, I think, practically statutory that before a couple gets married, they have to do the marriage course. Mm.
And we have actually even heard stories where marriages have been saved because couples have really come in two different places, and then through the course, through the communication, that things have changed.
Yeah.
So that sometimes marriages have been saved, that's sort of that end of it, and then sometimes it's just that people have come in the early stages of their marriage or wherever, and just to learn new tools. So that's a basic understanding of the course. So what we wanted to do was just mention some of the things that they talk about each week, and I've got this computer here.
Yeah, so you turn up of an evening.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is you never sit in a group setting. There's never like, oh, now we've got to share our whatever with other people. So you sit down at a table and you're on your own with your spouse.
So it's like a date.
It's like a date. It's like a date night, and there's a meal, it's usually candlelit, and it's a nice atmosphere. And there's no sense of whole group share.
Yeah.
It would have been a nightmare for me. So that's the first thing to say.
And then after supper, you have a nice supper together, and it's normally really quite nice food, and you have that. And then they go into the evening, so there's a talk. You also have a workbook, and there are very particular subjects each week that they look at. So there's a little talk, and that's interspersed with some DVD, and then a little bit of chat time, and then a bit more DVD.
Chat time, just you two, just the two of you. It's just you talking, you doing the exercises, the two of you. Nobody else gets involved at all.
Nobody talks to you the entire night apart from saying hello and clearing your plate. So it really is, what they're trying to do is really treasure your marriage. And then these are some of the subjects that they go into. Sort of understanding each other's needs. That's a good one. Communicate more effectively. Resolving conflict. Healing hurts. How your upbringing affects your relationship and your love languages. Those are some of the things that you end up talking about, and it's provided this amazing forum where you can just sit, have supper, take time out, be in a private environment, even though there are couples everywhere. Nobody's interested in you, basically.
They're more interested in themselves.
Yes. And so I think it lasts about 2 hours each night. But for us, it was just such a great date time. We organised a babysitter for each 7 weeks for Beth, so that would be something that you need to do, is just organise a babysitter.
Yeah. But there were tools and things that we either learned or then. I mean, this is how many years ago now? I don't know. 9 years ago? No. 7 years ago. All right. Marital conflict, you see, resolving marital conflict. But there were things that we learned that we've done more or less ever since. And even some things which have just sort of unconsciously been there in terms of learning good communication skills. And I just keep coming back to this thing. It's like, well, if you had a car, you'd think, well, a regular checkup is normal, isn't it? And you'd think, I need to invest in it for it to keep running well. But when it comes to marriage, we're like, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost a vast amount. How much does it cost?
I think it's about £80 for the whole course. So that involves your meals, the 7 weeks there, and your course books. So it would cost you that and a babysitter. So there's a little bit of cost, but to be honest with you, I think it's a very small investment in a very large thing.
How much does it cost to change the oil in your car?
Oh, stop it about
But it's like that, isn't it? But it is. I mean, you wouldn't think 80 quid, oh, it's quite cheap to fix my car up.
Yeah, exactly. So what you'll find in this email, underneath this sort of clip, I've actually looked online, and St Aldate's in Oxford are running a marriage course in May and June. They haven't posted the exact dates then, and in fact, what I'll probably do tomorrow is give the office a call, and I can also email you that. I may have that information by the time I email you. But that means they're offering it. St Aldate's is a well-known church in the centre of Oxford. So it'll be, you know, a course that is, you know, well attended. They've run it several times before, so they're not pioneering when they run it. They know what to do. These will be experienced leaders, and it'll be well run.
It'll be well run, and just a really important thing: there'll be very little God stuff, if any God stuff at all. This is really purely focused, 100% focused on communication tools, practices that you can establish in your marriage to help. Overcome things like hurts and past experiences, etc., etc., etc. This is very, very practical.
Let's make that very clear. We should have probably said that at the start, shouldn't we?
So I just think it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. I mean, it just seems to me something that anybody or everybody should do. In fact, if we had, I'd like to do it again myself. I really, really would. I'd like to do it. We went, I think, about a year afterwards or 2 years afterwards. They do a little sort of refresher evening where you can go and just be reminded of some of the things. And we went and did that, and that was fantastic. So it's been a real cornerstone, I would say. One of the cornerstones in our marriage, I would say, has been what we learned through the marriage course. The simple things. It's not complicated stuff. It's not. But it's amazing how you can miss these things. And if there's no context, if you never give yourself that sort of context to explore these things, well, somehow it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, so that's our encouragement, really, to you both. You know, we think about you so often, and this has been something on my mind to do for quite some time. So I'm really glad we've got a chance to put this together for you. Sending lots of love. Bye.